Everyone, this is Chuck Teroni, the chair of the Arlington Conservation Commission. It's 7:01 and we're starting the meeting for December 4th, 2025. Our agenda tonight includes an administrative report, a review of the November 20th minutes, correspondence received, letters of support for the updated WPA regulations. We'll discuss enforcement order at 6666R and 993 Mass Ave, water bodies update, all our liaison updates, and then we'll have two hearings. One hearing for a notice of intent at 26 Dudley Street, and a second notice of intent, which was not advertised correctly, so we will just be continuing that to December 16th, and that's the Winchester Country Club. And so with that, I'm going to take attendance of the commission and start with Mike Gildersgame.
Present.
And Nathaniel Stevens.
Present.
And Susan Chapnick. And I see Susan, but I don't hear her, so I'll get back to her. David White.
I'm here.
And David Kaplan.
Also here.
And Brian McBride.
I'm here.
And Susan Chapnick.
Here, sorry, I was having trouble.
Sure, and Chuck Teroni is here. And then our associate members, Sarah Alfaro Franco.
Present.
Thank you. And Eileen Coleman.
I'm here.
Great. And so I'd already reviewed the agenda. And so if you want to move on, Jackie.
I can read the blurb. I found the script.
Okay, you want to read the blurb now, and then after that, we'll go right to the minutes.
Okay. Hi, this is Jackie Anderson, Arlington's Conservation Administrator. The December 4th, 2025 public meeting of the Arlington Conservation Commission will be conducted in a remote format consistent with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, which extended remote participation in public meetings. This meeting is being recorded, and the recording may be made publicly available. All materials for this meeting are available at the link which I provided in the chat. Please note that the Zoom chat feature may be used for questions and comments that contribute to the Commission's procedures. If it is used otherwise, it may be disabled at the Chair's discretion. A public comment period will follow each hearing. The Conservation Commission encourages attendees to ask questions and offer comments during the public comment period. Chuck Teroni, the Commission Chair, will facilitate this meeting. Each vote taken during this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote.
All right. And so we have the agenda, and we have first review of the minutes for November 20th, 2025.
Okay, I'll pull up the minutes. Okay, can you see that?
Now we can. Maybe you need to make them full screen. There you go.
There's people entering the payment. Okay. Make this a little smaller. So as you can see, there's a draft that I created, and then Susan and Nathaniel added some comments to it. The comments, you can see here, there were some details added on the hearing. And then a few details added to the enforcement order. Some additional at the end. And then this other enforcement order, there were some additions also for water bodies. The calendar for 2026 and the recreation section also had changes.
I made some water body edits to take it in.
Oh, yes, I see. There's a third.
Oh, there, okay.
Third color on there. Yep. Thank you.
Jackie, I thought I had a comment in there, but now I don't remember. Oh, is one of mine a comment rather than a edit?
Um,
Or was everything resolved?
I know you had emailed me saying that you had like a question rather than an edit, but I didn't see anything that was a question when I went through it.
Okay. Maybe I was mistaken. I thought I did.
Can go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it was mostly adding and replacing.
Okay. I must have resolved it myself. Sorry.
Okay. Did anyone else have any comments?
Seeing none, can we get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
It's
Second.
David White, second Nathaniel Stevens, Susan Chapnick,
Yes.
uh, David Kaplan,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
Mike Gildersgame,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
Susan Chapnick.
Yes. I get 2 votes. You asked
Oh,
me at the
David, did I
beginning.
miss
That's
David
okay.
White? David
Yeah.
White.
Right. Uh,
And Chuck Gironi says yes. Great. So that's taken care of. So next on the agenda, we have correspondence received. And just a note on that is the correspondence received is available for the public, and for a full list, you can contact the conservation agent at the link provided in the chat, which is David Morgan's email. And if you're having problems finding a particular item or you need some help understanding something, just give the conservation office a call. And so we have next on the agenda is a letter of support for the updated WPA regulations. And I know Susan might know a little bit about that. I don't know if Jackie or Susan, do we need to discuss this first, or are we just ready to take a vote?
I think, can we just put it up because I made the draft today and I don't think I sent it around.
Mhm.
It's a simple letter. What I did is I used the format from MACC and modified it slightly just for Arlington. So if you go down the first paragraph is pretty much the same, and the second paragraph, the third one, I explained that in our local regulations, we already require the NOAA rainfall data, but because this was an example that MACC gave, but the current state wetlands regulations use the old data. And then where there were references in the MACC to resilient infrastructure and buildings, I kind of took that out and just left it wetlands and floodplain, because I thought that's what we were more focused on. So it's very simple. It's just a page. And then it's signed by myself and Chuck, but for the commission. Oh, I'll fix the page, Jackie, so that it all ends up on one page.
All right.
Looks good to me. Thanks. Thanks for drafting, Susan.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So it's just asking to make sure that this was reflected what the commission wanted to say to the governor about this. Okay. Great.
Yeah, I see a lot of people in favor. Does anyone want to vote to approve this draft?
Oh, so moved.
A second?
I'll second.
I think David White second. Sorry, Captain. Okay, so we're gonna start with Mike Gildersgame,
Yes.
Susan Chapnick,
Yes.
David Kaplan,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
David White,
Yes.
and Chuck Gironi says yes. All right, so we
Great.
got through that.
Thank you, Susan.
Thanks,
You're
Susan.
welcome. So I'll get that out, Jackie, but thanks for putting it up.
Okay. Next on the agenda is our discussions, and It's number 2 on our agenda, and it's an enforcement order for 66 and 66R and 993 Massachusetts Ave. And so there was a site visit with Al Galler on November 20th, conducted by I think Nathaniel. I think we discussed this at the last time,
We
but
did. Yep.
we got a letter, an email from the applicant, and I forgot her name. Evelyn, is that her name?
I
And
believe so. Yep.
yeah, and she said that Al hadn't finished up on the plans and asked if we could continue this until December 18th.
Okay.
And myself, I'm happy that Al's on board. Someone that has worked with the commission other times, so I felt confident that we would have some plans and be able to review this on the 18th. So I don't have an issue with continuing this. I'm not sure we need to vote to continue an enforcement order, but that's the request that we have. So we can, if there's no vote required, we can move on to the next agenda item.
I think, Chuck, I think we've been voting to continue it, because I don't know if we opened it as a hearing, but maybe
Okay,
just
let's have a
formality.
vote.
I'll make a motion to continue to the meeting on the 18th.
Can I
Second.
get a second?
Yeah, second.
Mike Gildersgame. Okay, great. So Susan Jabnik?
Thumbs up.
Sorry, having trouble again. It's a little wonky today. Yes, thank you.
Great. David White,
Yes.
David Kaplan,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
Mike Gildersgame,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
and Chuck Teroni says yes. Okay, so we'll hear this on the 18th. Hopefully, what I heard was we'll have information next week. So hopefully that's what ends up happening. We're going to move on to second item on discussion. It's the Water Bodies Working Group. And David White, do you have an update for the commission?
No updates today.
Okay. No updates today. Great. We're going to move on to CPA Committee Liaison Report. And there's 2 things with that, Brian. I hope you're aware of those. Your report, and then there's a vote about Cook's Hollow. Are you aware of both? We'd like an update on both.
Yeah, so I don't have a ton of updates on the other projects, but basically David and Jackie may know a little bit about this, is trying to parcel out these projects that we're doing between the Open Space Committee, between the town, and between the Conservation Commission. And I see the letter in support of Cook's Hollow, and I can't quite recall whether David was asking for that because the town is going to take that on instead of the Conservation Commission. I don't know, Jackie, if you've got straight which projects he's parceled out to whom, but I do see he's asking for a letter of support, which I think is a no-brainer. So I think, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the context of the letter of support, but I have it here if you want to look at it together.
Yeah.
I can share my screen.
Yeah, you can share that.
Did David write the letter? I'm not sure where the letter came from.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. He told me he'd like the commission to vote on it tonight.
The only thing, it struck me, I'm sure other folks know a lot about Cook's Hollow as well, but I think he might have mentioned just the passive recreational purpose and the connection to the linear park idea. I think there's more than just climate resiliency in this project. That I don't know if we want to edit this on the fly or whether we just want to vote on it as is. I think it's good and probably fine as it is, but I think those 2 pieces might make it stronger.
I'm in favor of adding those 2 pieces that Brian mentioned.
So maybe then the action, if that's the case, is to get a vote of support from the commission on this letter with those 2 additional points that David and Jackie and I can hammer out offline.
Sounds good. And I was going to also suggest that if the vote is unanimous, that we say to express our unanimous support.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little stronger. I'll make a motion to approve the letter with the changes we discussed.
Second.
So Nathaniel Stevens and David Kaplan. So Mike Gillisgame,
Yes.
Susan Chapnick,
Yes.
David White,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
Mike Gillisgame. They said that.
David Kaplan says yes.
David Kaplan says yes, and
Nathaniel
Nathaniel
Stevens
Stevens
says yes.
and Chuck
Yeah.
Tirone says yes. Thank you.
Go
I did
alphabetical,
notice
Chuck.
another thing that
maybe.
in Susan's letter, I'm Chuck Tirone, which is fine, and David's letter, I'm Charles.
Mm.
So since
So
they're going out
what do you want to
relatively,
be? What do you want to be, Chuck? Because I can change the letter.
yeah, you might as well do Charles, I
Charles?
guess.
Okay, no
Yeah.
problem. Yep.
So I think the only other update on CPA is the applications are due in about 2 weeks, I think maybe the 19th. And then in January, the committee will get together and have presentations, and then early February, probably they will vote on parceling out this limited money amongst the many worthy candidates. So that's the schedule ahead of us.
So in the meetings, what is the feedback from the committee? Is it positive on the Cook's Hollow?
Yeah, I would say, Chuck, it was really preliminary. It was more presenting what the project is, and there wasn't a lot of debate. It was, is it qualified or is it not qualified to move on to the next step? But in general, I think there is strong support for Cook's Hollow. I think David made the right call, making that kind of the focus of his push for money.
It's a major
Sure.
project ready to go, I think.
What's that, David? Sorry.
It's a really major project. I was almost ready to go.
Yeah, yeah. And David does feel he can get additional money from some state grants and federal grants because it does touch climate resiliency and a number of other things. So I think it's secure. I think it's secure. I hope so.
It's good to know. All right, so we can move on with that. And the next item on our discussion list is a tree committee report from Sarah Alfaro Franco.
The tree committee will meet next week. So no report. There hasn't been a meeting since our last report.
Okay. And we have going back to the agenda. I think that's pretty much all of our reports, except I do have a note in here if I can find my thing. So we got an email from Julie Wayman, and she has said that our request for the budget has been accepted, and it will be part of the process. And they need a budget from the commission by January 15th. So that's the next step. So we just summarized our budget, and the next step is to, I guess, get some real numbers together. So that's good. That's good to hear. It's nice to be. It would be nice to be a line item on the I don't know, public services or whatever it is, whatever department it is. I'm not sure that David's in, and get that line item the first year, and then maybe it can be built up over time. With that, we have a hearing, a notice of intent for 26 Dudley Street. So we're ready to move into that. I believe everyone's here for that. Yeah, Nicole's here. So DEP file number 910375, notice of intent for 26 Dudley Street. Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing to consider a notice of intent to demolish a detached structure, construct 2 additions to a commercial structure, and repave the parking lot at 26 Dudley Street in Arlington. Areas proposed to be altered include the riverfront area associated with Mill Brook. So one of the things that came up after this was filed was DEP got their copy, and they had a whole host of comments. They came from Alicia Galen. Most of those are typical. If anyone is aware of her YouTube discussions with conservation agents and whatnot as far as the riverfront, so I wasn't surprised to see that. It actually looked very familiar to me. So what we've decided to do is Rich Kirby is off this week. He's on vacation, and we'll be meeting with DEP when Rich gets back. But Nicole is going to start the ball rolling, but we're not going to close, and we're going to understand that if anyone has an opportunity, they should go to the portal and see what Elisa has asked for, because it might stop you from asking some questions until we get that information, because I don't want you to get confused between uh, whatever's going to happen. Maybe there's different answers that is going to come up. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nicole, and please introduce yourself for the record and take it
Chuck,
away.
Chuck, sorry, before you do that, Brian has a question. I have a procedural question.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, Brian.
Maybe just from my knowledge, I'm curious. Usually our projects don't go to the DEP before we see them. Is that right? And was there something unusual about this one that it took this route, or?
So when the applicant files at the same time that they file with the conservation agent, they have to send a copy to to DEP, and it's up to DEP to review that. And so typically in the Northeast, we don't get a lot of comments, but I've seen a few come through lately, and so I'm not surprised.
Okay.
I don't think this is a big deal, but no, that is the actual process. It's actually working how it should when we see comments prior to the meeting. And it's nice to know that they're taking care of us. Now, these are suggestions. The commission can do what they want. In other words, on comments, we could close and we could issue, and then it's up to DEP to go through their process. It's only when they don't issue a file number that we would hold off. So
Okay.
that being said, you would be crazy, you would be crazy to close a hearing when DEP's asked some questions. We want to know those answers also, but
So Chuck,
that's the regulations I hear. Sure.
My question is, so who is going to be meeting with DEP? I was a little confused on that. Is it just LEC or
So
you
no,
guys?
so Alicia included Jackie and David asked me to go, and I'm not sure. Obviously, it extended to Susan also, but I mean, this is how I took it. Alicia had all these things that she wanted Rich to do, and he was like, "Well, can we talk about it?" And so instead of doing them, he wants to give an explanation and see if he has to do those.
Right.
And it's just like I said, it's just qualifying, how much disturbance, and then like I said, it's the typical questions. I guess we could pull up the letter. Jackie, do you have the letter? Do
I
you
think
want to go
that would
over
be
it?
helpful to me
Yeah.
because you said you didn't want us to ask the same questions, and I don't know if I remember them all.
I'll check and see if it's in the full.
Thank you.
Yeah, so she states that the project does not meet 10585, and that's one of her statements, and then she goes through 10585A and B and then C. She surely went through all of the regulations and said that she had issues with all of those.
Yeah, I have it in front of me. I can try to summarize.
Yeah, can you summarize that? Because
I'm
I
on
just
one
made some
screen.
notes.
So, sure, yeah. So she said essentially the project does not appear to meet 10.585, which is the redevelopment standards, a plan that more clearly indicates existing degraded and existing non-degraded areas is needed. Also, the project must include an improvement over existing conditions of the capacity to the riverfront area to protect the interests of the Act. Reduction of 35 square feet of impervious surface spread across the site does not provide a meaningful improvement. Also, mandatory stormwater management does not count as an improvement because that's a standalone requirement below. Essentially, you need to meet the stormwater standards anyways. And then concerning the stormwater standards, a peer review of the stormwater design is recommended. There's no map that provided to show the different drainage areas. And then more technically, the infiltration unit appears to only remove 25% TSS, not 80%, and requires pre-treatment. The commission should request additional information on how the 80% TSS removal will be achieved. That's stormwater standard 4. There's insufficient information provided on parking lot sweeping. The stormwater handbook states that to qualify as pre-treatment, an infiltration unit must she has some typos here, so I'm stumbling a bit. Must be aggressive, see volume, blah, 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 parking lots. And then she talks about more details of that. Post-construction inspection schedule appears unfinished and does not include parking lot sweeping. Soil logs also were not included, so minimum separation of the bottom of the infiltration unit and the top of the seasonal high groundwater could not be verified. We know that from Thorndike. And also, using native plants in landscape areas does not constitute mitigation. Mandatory stormwater management does not count as mitigation because, as the regs state, mitigation activities must be undertaken voluntarily by the applicant, which will support a determination by the issuing authority of no significant adverse impact. The applicant could consider offsite mitigation if the intent is to maximize the amount of degraded areas on the site. DP. Hopefully that's in front of you. Sorry, I had one screen. I didn't realize you guys were looking at that.
Yeah, so there's a lot there.
So
If I may just jump in here, Nicole Farrar from LEC Environmental. Thank you for pulling up those comments. Just wanted to mention we are meeting with Alicia next week. We don't believe she fully understood or reviewed the application, so just wanted to get to some of the bottom of those comments and then address some of those as well. But yes, we are going to meet with her next week, so we know we're not going to be able to close the hearing tonight. If I may, I'm
Yeah.
going to actually share my screen. Let's see here. All right, here we go. So we're filing a notice of intent application on behalf of Greg Santini, who I believe is in the audience, as well as Christian Klein, the project engineer, or sorry, the architect, and then the project engineer, Fred Russell, may be in the audience as well. So we filed a notice of intent to construct 2 additions and to demolish a structure associated with the commercial lot. I pulled up the aerial just to familiarize the commission with the site. It's in the central part of town, just north of Wellington Park here. You can see we have Millbrook off-site to the south. I'll pull up the existing conditions plan. We have an existing structure located in the northern portion of the site. It's a 3-story building with a detached wooden structure to the south. You can see the paved parking lot surrounds the remainder of the site. We have a chain link fence with this line here that kind of runs along that pavement edge. We do have some small strips of linear forested land, right behind this chain link fence and behind these buildings as well. Now, in terms of resource areas, LEC was out in June of this year to delineate the bank. You can see we have that marked in blue. And then we have the 25-foot, 50-foot, and 100-foot riverfront area, as well as the 200-foot riverfront area. So essentially the whole site is within riverfront area. I'll say roughly 89.8% of the property consists of degraded and previously developed riverfront area, and that remaining 10.2%, occurs as those narrow strips of forest floor vegetation. We also have bordering land subject to flooding that occurs at elevation 62.4. That's off-site on town-owned land. So no work is proposed within bordering land subject to flooding. Moving over to our proposed conditions here. We're proposing to construct two additions. One that's going to be around 3,695 square feet, just this larger addition off the western side of the structure, and then another smaller 162 square foot addition off the eastern side. I believe that's going to be a stairwell. Also proposing some repaving and regrading within the paved parking lot to reconcile the elevation difference between the addition and the site entrance. 9 parking spaces are proposed along the southern pavement edge as well. You can see those numbered along the side. We're proposing a dumpster pad or a dumpster with a concrete pad underneath in the southern portion, as well as a bike storage rack in the northeastern portion of the site. Also proposing a landscape retaining wall that's going to run along the eastern property edge. And then I believe that's it for proposed conditions. The existing pavement you can see measures 43.5 feet from the brook, and the proposed activities won't be located any closer than that. As you can see, the proposed dumpster is also going to be 43.5 feet from the brook. For mitigating measures, the applicant's proposing erosion controls along the limit of work line. You can see that with this bold line around the property boundary. And then we're going to propose stormwater management as well. A single subsurface infiltration system is proposed right in the center of the parking lot, and that's going to collect and infiltrate runoff from the existing structure and proposed additions. The stormwater report does contain the DEP stormwater checklist and the operation and maintenance plan. I'd like to turn it over to Fred Russell if he's available on call. And I actually don't see him on the Zoom. I know he had another hearing tonight, so I can touch upon some more details. I know the stormwater management is gonna reduce the peak rates and volumes by roughly half for the 2, 10, 25, and 100-year statistical storm event. And the system's been designed using the NOAA Atlas 14 volume 10 precipitation data in order to promote more climate resiliency. Lastly, we have our native landscaping plan, which I'm going to pull up here. So, while opportunities are fairly limited with revegetating this very developed area, the architect approach 3 has provided some native landscaping opportunities, including some native trees, shrubs, and ground cover plants are proposed around the dumpster, south of the bicycle rack, adjacent to the structure and along the street, as well as the side property boundaries. And all the native plants will be derived from the Lexington Preferred Plant List. I believe that's dated, the 2021 is the most recent list. And we have some planting details included as well for the trees, shrubs, and ground covers. And then details on their locations as well included in the plan. Lastly, I'll briefly outline how the project complies with the climate resiliency standards under the bylaw. So under existing conditions, stormwater runs, from the site to Dudley Street into the existing catch basins and empties into Mill Brook, likely untreated. And so while the impervious area on the site is going to reduce slightly, we are providing a lot of treatment, which will be a pretty big improvement for the site. I believe that covers the project, so I'm happy to turn it back over to the commission to answer any questions.
Sure. Looking for hands from the commission. But it seems like the list from DEP, oh, I see that Susan has her hand up, but we're just going to hold off for a second.
Sure.
Is pretty extensive. I mean, I have to say that I agree with a lot of these and would like some answers to them. and they're just saying that what you're proposing for a reduction and is not considered meaningful improvements. So I think that the commission needs to look at that. This is also one of my pet peeves. I've brought this up a couple of times. I'm not sure if it was with LEC, but I'd like to see an improvement over the existing conditions. And one of the things that Alicia brought up is that you're saying mitigation or and you're saying, oh, we're providing stormwater infiltration. And I think that what Alicia's reading is that when it's required, you can't call that mitigation. So it can't be part of what you're offering to meet the standards. So I know that I was able to look at least that one up. The rest of these may come up tonight, but we'll certainly want to have a chance to look over Alicia's comments and then get feedback from the meeting with Alicia. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Susan Chapnick because I know that I stopped her from talking first.
Thank you, Chuck. So I have a few questions. I'm not going to obviously talk about the things that you're going to be discussing with Alicia, but I have a comment and a question. One question was, have you considered moving the dumpster out of that area that you're revegetating? Obviously, it's closest to the resource area. You could get a little more improvement in that area by making it all vegetated. It is a tight site, but is that something you could, you had considered or could consider?
Yeah, great question. Believe we did consider relocating the dumpster, but it was a matter of lack of space anywhere else, as the rest of the site is either parking, bike storage, or structure. But we can take another look just to confirm that.
You might want to look because we have in the past on other sites recommended, in order to gain mitigation, reducing parking by a space. So it's something you need to look at because obviously there's an issue about mitigation. The second question I had, and it's probably going to be after you have your discussion with Alicia, because I don't know if that would change your stormwater management approach. But I think in this case, we would wait for the town engineer to review the stormwater. And I don't know if you've submitted it to them yet, or you're holding off to see if there would be any modifications based on your discussion with DEP and then submit it to the town engineer. But that's something I would like to see. That's our peer review, basically. So thank you.
David Kaplan.
Thank you. Yeah, my question, I know this is something that's going to be discussed with Alicia and others next week. But yeah, it's a stormwater related question. I just, without a utility plan, I just wanted to confirm that the only thing draining to that infiltration basin at this point is the rooftop runoff, and none of the parking lot is being treated by that. Okay.
Yep, I can confirm that it's just the roof runoff.
Okay. So if that's the case, I know DEP considers that clean and probably won't require pre-treatment. But then I don't understand how the rest of the site is getting 80% TSS removal, unless you're considering removal because there was bituminous pavement now being replaced by rooftop, and the rest of the site now, which is going to be used and swept and contributing sediment to Dudley Street, how that 80%, how that's going to be treated to 80% TSS removal. So it looks like, to me, when I look at it, it looks like there's in need of some other structural BMP or figure out how to route and pre-treat that parking lot runoff to contribute to that infiltration system. Then you get phosphorus, you'd get a lot of other beneficial treatment through the recharge and not just use it as a flood control for clean runoff from the rooftops. So I think there's a real missed opportunity in water quality improvement, the way it's currently designed. So that's all I have for now.
Thanks, Sam. We can make sure that the engineer outlines how we meet that standard and that requirement after we talk to Alicia and share it with the commission.
Sure. Thank you. Nathaniel Stevens?
Thanks, Chuck. Hi, Nicole. I just skimming through the stormwater report, and you mentioned this, that the stormwater calcs were based on NOAA 14, but I believe, and I'm looking to Susan to remind me, I think our regulations require NOAA plus or
Plus, plus.
plus.
Yeah, so
So
the highest end
uh,
of the range.
of the range, which it
Mhm.
doesn't look like it was done, so that needs to be done, put through. And maybe where is the soil data, the soil profile that DEP mentioned was missing? Oh, is it right there for the?
Yes, we do. I
Okay,
think
great.
Alicia might have
Just
missed a
missed
few
that,
details for the
like
project. Yeah.
I did too. Yep. Okay, so that's where and is that located where the infiltration basin is going to be? I don't see a symbol. I didn't see maybe if you could slide the plan back.
We
Is
have
it
a
taken
test
right in
pit.
yep, it's right there. Test pit.
Yeah.
Yep, it's right there. Okay. All right, thanks. Just I'll chime in, echoing Chuck's comment too about I don't think you get to count this improvement on the stormwater standards as a mitigation measure per se, but I'm leaning towards that way.
Could I just hop on the test pit and if
Yeah,
we're talking about the infiltration, are you done, Nathaniel?
I'm done. Thanks, Susan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nicole, if you can go down, do you have a detail of the infiltration system?
Let's see. We do.
Okay, so and you've calculated the elevation for the 2 feet of separation from the gravel below the infiltration center?
Yes, I believe we
Okay.
did. We have the gravel.
You grabbed
And
the
then-
gravel. Okay. Because that's a common problem. I think Alicia maybe didn't notice that. Of not grabbing the gravel. So I'm just making sure you did in your calculations.
Yeah, she probably doesn't know how elevated the site is, but it looks like there's, at least from the elevation, looks like there's 2 feet of separation right there. Nicole, David Kaplan was saying that the parking area doesn't seem to have any stormwater, uh, you know, process there, and everything goes out to the road. But is that in fact where everything goes? Do you have some elevations down there, and are things heading towards Millbrook at all, or is everything heading out towards the street?
Yeah, great question. So I was out over the summer and there's a slope towards the road to the northeast, and you can see some spot grades. We have elevation 70. Down here we have 68, 66. So going in a northeasterly direction, but at the same time, we do have this break in slope, kind of where the property boundary is, that does go a little bit towards Millbrook, but there's pretty distinct flow towards the northeast, which is presumably where most of that water is going to go.
What's the elevation behind the proposed dumpster area?
Let's see. Let me zoom in
Is there a
here.
shot in that area?
There's elevation, we have 70, which is right behind that dumpster. And then we have
And
72. Yeah, not proposing any grading in the dumpster area, just more in the parking.
So I haven't had a chance to look at this, but I wouldn't want any sheet flow to catch whatever's coming out of the dumpster and then back into or going over the curb. So that was my next question. What's kind of framing in this dumpster area? Is there a curb there? Is there a retaining wall? Um, there's no drain, so it must just flow off somewhere behind the dumpster. Is that true?
Yeah, there's a retaining wall that's proposed, but it doesn't extend all the way down. This area is going to be, mainly a vegetated area. It's currently vegetated, and well, at least the southern portion is vegetated. And let me just zoom in. I think we might have a spot grade that's a little hidden. No, I don't see the spot grade, but we can definitely look into that for the next hearing.
So that area, do you know that that area can handle the flow that's going towards it and infiltrate into the vegetated area?
That's a great question for the project engineer that I can bring back at the next hearing as well.
Okay. Again, I'm not a fan of the dumpster being in this area. I don't, yeah, we're going to catch a lot of, if those are parking spots, we're going to catch a lot of gas and oil and all that. And there's only a little bit of vegetation there and soil, and it's going to do some of the work for us. But it seems to me that the opportunity to put in some sort of oil grease separator, viatory system, and have everything go through that would be a better idea than just going out into the street and then down through the existing manholes, or storm drains. David Kaplan, did I see your hand up? I'm not sure. I thought I did.
Yeah, but I put it back down. Thanks, Chuck.
Okay. Yeah, so the parking area has a retaining wall, but it's not behind the dumpster area, so it does look like we're gonna get some sheet flow in that area. Um, so we'll have to look into that in the future when we get so the engineer's coming to this meeting and he's not here yet? They're not here yet?
Yeah, I believe he had another hearing tonight and was going to try to make tonight's hearing, but I don't see him in the audience right now.
Are there any other questions from the Conservation Commission?
Maybe just like a comment, Chuck.
Sure.
I don't know if this is conservation comment or aesthetic comment, but it seems like there might have been an opportunity to create some more natural space at this site, and it seems like that's a very low priority of the project here. I would have loved to see the building extension be smaller and some green space and habitat space as an improvement as the code requires, right? And improving this parcel, but I think the choice has been made of a more industrial or built out approach that again, I don't know if that's an aesthetic comment or a genuine conservation comment, but I thought I'd say it.
Sure. Yeah, thanks. I think that got another question going here. Nathaniel Stevens.
Sorry, I know this was asked, but what was the answer to if the town engineer is going to review this, or what's the schedule for that, or do we need to seek a peer review, outside peer reviewer?
I'd like to talk about that. My only comment is I think the town engineer reviews what's on the plan and doesn't make suggestions. Our peer reviewer would have detailed um, review of all aspects of the site and make suggestions based on the WPA and our own regulations. So there is a difference. It's a higher level of review, in my opinion, from a peer review source. So keep that in mind. I know Susan made that comment, but I don't feel it's the same. I don't feel it's the same in the town I work for. Sometimes it's fine, but sometimes you want to make sure. I don't think Susan or Alicia distinguish between getting a separate peer review or having the town do it. It's just that it needed to be done in the first place. So. I don't know where we are with that. I've never known the engineering department to refuse our request for review.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, and I agree with you somewhat with a comment in terms of outside peer reviewer might give us a more detailed memo than we get from the town engineering department. But I guess maybe, I don't know, we can wait and decide that at the next meeting, but I would say that if enough commissioners want to get an outside peer reviewer for the stormwater, it might be more efficient to decide that now and get that process rolling, since we know it takes some time.
And that is one of DEP's comments, peer review recommended. So you're mulling that over. Go, Mike Gilderscane.
I'm just wondering if it wouldn't be better, perhaps more efficient to wait until we get DEP's input before we go outside for a review? Or is that not going to save us anything anyway?
So, I think that what we're seeing here is there's no, the engineer who's not here tonight may be saying there's nothing that they feel like they can do with the driveway. And so it's only the rooftop runoff that they can treat, or they're not responsible for the driveway because it's existing conditions. I think we would get some comments on that from a stormwater peer reviewer, whether that can happen or not, at least some suggestions, what can go there. I'm not sure the town engineer would suggest, uh, fixes, if I can say it that way. Nathaniel Stevens?
Just a question, Nicole, do you know, has this gone through ARB? Does it need to have, does it require any other town board approvals?
Yeah, I believe that's gonna happen around the second week of December. And just in terms of the stormwater management, it would be we would appreciate the opportunity to have the engineer relay some of the technical details to the commission before a peer review may be called, but understand that that's the commission's decision ultimately.
Sure. So Nicole, the question came up, the course of discussion about degraded and non-degraded area, and it was also mentioned by DEP. Is there more than 35 feet of non-degraded area on the site, or is the whole thing degraded?
Yeah, great
Understanding the
question.
definitions.
So we have 89.8% of the property consists of degraded and previous developed riverfront area, and we're not increasing the amount. We're decreasing it very slightly on the site by, some of those plantings around the property. But the main sticking point in terms of us proposing an improvement to the site was with the stormwater management. We're reducing the amount of rates and volumes by half. So that was our mitigating opportunity, or the larger mitigating opportunity for improvement with the site.
Okay. So the Conservation Commission would ask for something else if they determine that you can't use something that you have to you're compelled to or required to have in your project. So we're looking, I guess when that's resolved, it would be great, but I would be looking for some sort of improvement over the existing conditions. Nathaniel Stevens?
Thanks. Just to understand, Nicole, maybe I'm if I can articulate what I think you're arguing in terms of mitigation vis-a-vis stormwater, is you're saying that, okay, you're meeting the stormwater standards, but you're actually going above and beyond the stormwater standards, so that portion, you're not saying that we get credit because we meet the stormwater standards. Are you saying that what we're doing above and beyond what we're required to should be considered mitigation? Is that your argument?
Correct.
Okay,
It is just, yeah, the stormwater management, it promotes the interests of the act, like flood control, pollution prevention, things like that.
Okay, that's your argument. Okay, thanks. Just want to see if I understood it. I'm not saying I necessarily
Yes.
agree, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding what the argument is. Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Well, I'd be a little bit more compelled again, and to reiterate, I'd be more compelled to agree with that if the water quality piece were tied into it. I mean, you have hydrologic group A soils, got great soils, you have a lot of space. I think you can engineer this site so that the majority of it is pre-treated and drains to that infiltration area, and you'd have a vast improvement over existing conditions. Thank you.
Thanks for that comment. Any other comments from commission members? Any comments from attendees to tonight's meeting? If you could just raise your hand. Arlene Coleman has rates and volume is just one of the recommendations. I think that's what it said. It skipped away.
Standards.
Standards, I think, is the
Standards. Okay. So I was asking if anyone attending tonight's meeting has anything to say about this project. If you could just use the raise hand function, or you can wave, turn your camera on. Nicole, can you take down the screen
Oh, yes,
so
of
we can
course.
see who's here? And I don't see anyone with their hand up. So back to the commission. Any further comments, or we could ask for some material for the next meeting. I know Susan had some different thoughts beyond just what DEP had written down. New spot for the dumpster to explain why it can't go anywhere else. Were there some other to-dos that the commission may have in between meetings?
yes, rerunning the stormwater report complies with our wetlands regulations.
Mm-hmm.
So it uses no plus plus rather than just NOAA.
Yeah, look to expand the vegetated area, and if it's going to take some runoff, amend the soil so that it can at least handle it, or prove that it can handle the area of that subcatchment that is going into the vegetated area.
I'd
Right,
also
and
echo
what Dave Kaplan said.
Dave
Yeah.
Kaplan's point, about
Yeah.
exploring.
And Sarah has her hand up, so sure, Sarah.
I just had a quick question about how are you going to handle this snow?
That is a great question, and we can definitely provide an area where the snow is going to be stored if that's helpful for the next meeting.
So with that area that's going to be stored, can you add to the stormwater operation and maintenance plan springtime cleanup of that area of all sediment, certainly if it's on the gravel
Yep.
or the paved area?
So let me just bring up a point of our regulations. Well, maybe I just don't know how to handle snow storage, because we say you can't store snow in jurisdictional areas, but this entire site is a jurisdictional area. So do you make them move it off site? Or do you allow a designated area with controls and stormwater or water quality cleanup? Or so I don't understand how that's done on such a tight site.
Well, it sounds like the letter of the law says they can't have it there, but if they, and also if you look at the site, it's all parking and pavement. They may be trucking it off anyway, so we don't know the answer to that. It's a good question to follow up on at our next meeting, but snow
Yeah.
storage is definitely an issue.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah, for bringing it up. I totally didn't remember that.
Chuck, I just noticed that our esteemed chair of the ZBA is in the audience, Chris Klein, and was just wondering if he was, not to put him on the spot, but was wondering if he was here on ZBA business and might want to offer some perspective on this, or just here on non-ZBA just personally, in which case he doesn't need to say anything.
I would just comment that I'm the project architect and am here in no way relation to
Okay.
anything related to the town of Arlington.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from commission members? If not, can I have a motion to continue this to December 18th?
So moved.
That was Nathaniel Stevens, second.
Second.
Wow, that was good. Was that Mike Gilda's game? I'm not sure. His
No,
hand
that
went
was
up, but I
Brian.
thought it.
That was
Brian.
David Kevlin.
Oh, that was David, right. Sorry, don't recognize the voices.
That's right.
Okay, Mike Gilda's game
Yes.
and Susan Chapnick
Yes.
and David White
Yes.
and Brian McBride
Yes.
and Nathaniel Stevens
Yes.
and David Kaplan.
Yes.
Chuck Taroni says yes also. All right, so we'll bring this back on the 18th. We'll have a report from the meeting with DEP. Susan, did you say you wanted to be part of that?
I would like to, but if my schedule doesn't work, meet without me. So prioritize your schedule, Chuck.
Sure. Does anyone want to take Susan's spot if she can't make it? Which is fine if no one's available. I was trying to look up the time.
It
think
is
we have three-
Yeah,
it's at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, the 9th is the meeting.
Yeah, I can't make Tuesdays, so there you go. I watch my granddaughter on Tuesdays.
Hmm.
So does anybody else want to take
Yeah,
a spot?
Yeah.
I could sit in. I'm not sure how much I add value in terms of Susan, but I'll be happy to sit in if no one else can do it.
All right, Jackie. Just make sure Brian McBride gets an invitation when that meeting is
Okay.
scheduled.
Yeah, I also
you.
won't be able to make it. But I'll make sure.
But David can make it? Is that true, Jackie? Did he say he could make it?
I believe so. He was planning on going.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
My understanding, he was I sent out the Zoom link so I can pass it to whoever is interested in joining as well.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to move on.
Great. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, Nicole, thank you. All right. So our next notice of intent is for the Winchester Country Club, and this is a notice that wasn't I think they advertised, but they weren't on the agenda. So in order to not have the applicant need to go through the process of re-advertising and that payment, we're just going to open the meeting and continue it until December 18th, and they'll finish up their advertisement. So unless there's any comments, if I could get a motion to do that for
I'll make a motion to continue the
Sure.
hearing to the 18th.
Great, and that's Nathaniel Stevens, and who's going to second?
I'll
I
second it.
will.
Fuck you guys. I'm going to go with Mike Gilda's game and my call. So Nathaniel Stevens and Mike Gilda's game. Susan Chapnick
Yes.
and David White,
Yes.
David Kaplan,
Yes.
and Brian McBride.
Yes.
Mike Gilda's game.
Yes.
Daniel Stevens
Yes.
and Chuck Taroni says yes. Okay. Any other agenda items?
I had a
Anyone?
quick update for CPA. David Morgan wanted you all to know that we are planning on shifting from the proposed Meadowbrook Park and Window on the Mystic to repairing the stairs that the Conservation Commission built on the bike path near Mill Street. Just to make sure everyone knows about that.
Yeah, I hope we get that grant because those stairs really need a lot of repair. So that's a great project. Thank you, Jackie, and thanks, David, for being quick and nimble with these requests. Any other comments from commission members?
I
Anyone
have one
sure.
update on the fishing line issue. A small group of residents and myself and David White, Susan Stamps. I may not remember
Laura
everybody.
Kissel.
I'm sorry. Who'd I miss? Yeah.
Was it Laura?
Anyway, it's a small, yeah, Laura Kiesel. It's a small group exploring the potential opportunity of putting a warrant article together that addresses the issues that the commission had voiced in our letter to the select board about the concerns of protecting wildlife at Hills Pond and the concerns of fishing line waste harm. So we had a meeting last night. And we're keeping notes. If anybody's interested, I can pass that around if you're interested, for information about what we're doing. So we're gathering information. We're trying to gather information, history, information on other towns that have put pauses on fishing due to this issue. Though taking the temperature of a few other town meeting members. So we're starting that process.
Sure. Since it's the first meeting, could you send the notes out to the entire commission?
Sure.
They might be interested, and you might get some more people attending.
They can join us.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would say is maybe David Morgan can set up another page for the commission to review, just to keep all the information on one page on the drive.
Okay. Jackie, I think Chuck is talking about a folder on the Google Drive. That would be the
Folder to
fishing
share
line
things, yeah.
issues. That'd be great. And we could actually put in there the presentations that Laura gave us already.
Yes.
So if everything's in one place, it would be easier when we want to go back and review
Common
it.
resource.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Nathaniel has
see-
his hand up.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, he
right.
does.
Thanks. Yeah, somehow Zoom kicked me out and I missed part of the discussion, but just at that last point, I don't think necessarily in the Google Drive. Maybe if Chuck wasn't asking it, I would ask that we have a web page for
Yeah.
that on the town website, because again, my understanding is the members of the public don't see the Google Drive.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
So
well,
we
I
could
would-
do a
Also, I'm gonna
web
talk
page,
to,
but that's always
Yeah.
complicated. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if Jackie does.
Yeah, so I wasn't at this point setting it up for the public. I was just setting it up for the commission, but
for the
that's
group.
no matter where it goes, it's fine with me as long as it can be accessed by
Yeah.
at least the members. So I'm not sure.
Well, I think, I mean, and again, I've harped on this before. I really think that's an open meeting law violation to not have documents that the commission is looking at shared with the public as well.
Right. So we did
Again.
make sure, Nathaniel, that we did not have a quorum. It was just me
Working
and
group, maybe.
David White.
No, sorry, no, I'm talking
but-
about documents. Documents. that we're-
documents. Gotcha.
Documents. Really,
Gotcha.
really should be sharing documents that we should discuss with the
Yeah.
with the
So there's
public.
no
So
no sense
on
you know,
that.
hashing this out again.
Yeah,
Let's just
no,
put it,
just a
make
reminder.
a page.
Another reason
So-
to. Thanks.
We're changing our request to make a page where we can keep all these documents.
And Jackie, I know David might know the person to talk to. I think we have to talk to Joan. Is it Joan Roman? I don't know who
I
does
think
that.
it was in the past. Yeah,
Yeah.
the IT public
Yeah,
affairs
somebody.
person.
Yeah, somebody there who put up the Thorndike.
So you guys both think that David doesn't know who to go and talk to? So yeah, this is so important.
Right.
Tell him who to talk to.
Yeah,
I think he
yeah.
would.
Okay.
I know. I was just helping
All right.
Jackie in case David
No, I
wasn't
think
there.
Jackie knows to talk to
Okay.
David, so we're good with this.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
we want a page. That's great, and we're gonna put all the information from this fishing line thing on there. So and I appreciate all this. I know I'm pretty funny, aren't I? So okay. Any any other comments from the commission or anyone attending tonight's meeting that didn't have a chance to say something that would like to say something? Now, I'm going to call it Citizens Open Forum portion of the meeting. If anyone's here that might like to say something, you can use the raise hand functions. You can turn on your camera. Seeing none, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Let's
So
do it.
moved.
So moved.
Yes.
So moved. Okay, well, just all in favor, just wave, and that's unanimous. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the 18th.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah.